The following program is furnished by K1 International LLC and is responsible for its content. Now, from the fifth floor Cumulus Studios in downtown Dallas, it's time for Inside Real Estate. Here's your host, Michael Kruizinga.
Good morning, Texas. How we doing out there? Welcome to your Sunday morning Inside Real Estate. Time to get your real estate, politics, sports, entertainment fix in for your weekend. Hope everybody's having a great one out there. One heck of a drive in this morning. What a lightning show was out there this morning. If you're a photographer and you weren't out there this morning catching some amazing shots, man.
Still get out there.
Yeah, get out there now. What a bizarre sky this morning. I mean, it was so weird. It looked like the sun was rising in the west, and then he had all this lightning all around. There was even some of that circular lightning.
When we were driving in, it was perfectly blue skies right above us, but all around it was lightning to the north, south, and west. And it was all around us.
Wasn't it?
Yes, we saw lightning bolts all around us.
Yeah, pretty wild and crazy. By the way, we've got our team here. We got a full house with us today. We got Richard over at Goosehead Insurance, who you've just been hearing. We got Phillip Sears over at Permapier Foundation Repair.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? And
well,
then we've also got Perry Cockerell in here, our legal expert and author here in the studio as well today. So we've got an action-packed show for you today, and we're going to get into all those types of things as we usually do moving forward. The website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. If you want to talk to us, you have questions, 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-KLIF. Don't forget our Pinterest and all of our social media that you can catch through the website. By the way, if you're looking to buy or sell real estate, invest in real estate at all, give me a call. Go to the website, reach out to me. We will get you taken care of. And, we're not going to try to sell you any CDs or books, or we're not going to try to sell you some fancy scam plan to invest in real estate.
You're not going to do the CDs. If you buy this for the low introductory price of $19.95.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hey, we're just going to provide you with good service on how to invest in real estate, and we'd be happy to help you do that. Since we are action-packed today, we're going to head headlong straight into headlines right now and kind of get our fix on what's going on in the world today, and there is a heck of a lot going on out there. We're kind of combed out. Have we ever come across an FBI director that just wants to be in the limelight so much? This guy is driving me up a wall.
He may be the first since J. Edgar Hoover.
I'm telling you. Oh, my God. What else has been going on? Hey, Roger Ailes passed away this past week. And if you're a fan of Laura Ingram's show, and I am, I listen to her fairly, regularly. She was on point. I tell you, it was maybe Thursday or Friday's show. She was just on fire. She was just rocking and rolling. And, she was kind of a huge fan of Roger Ailes. They were definitely colleagues. She had been to his house, friends, and just painted a totally different picture of the man
Than what's been on the news lately?
And she really kind of, without naming names, she hammered some of those out there that took advantage of what was the situations that were offered as far as, let's attack Ailes. And so if you didn't catch that, I'd highly recommend. It was Thursday or Friday's Laura Ingram show. Check it out. Go to her website, check it out. Man, she was on point and just kind of hammered some of those people. She's like, I do not like, when people take advantage of those types of situations. Help me, and then just stab you in the back. Unbelievable. She was absolutely on point, though. What else is going on out there? Let's, we talked about last week, the Last Man Standing deal. We know that 20th Century Fox, after 6 years, they were passing over the production costs to ABC. If ABC was going to move forward in the show. That's why ABC was dropping it. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, they're dropping it because it's a conservative show." That's not really the case. It's all business related. But as we said, probably Netflix or somebody would pick it up. 20th Century has finally said, "Yeah, we're going to go ahead and shop it instead of just totally letting it die," which we assumed it was going to anyway. I bet you probably Netflix will pick it up.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, like I said last week, I never even caught the show until it started getting on Netflix, but I don't see why more shows that do well in ratings don't do that, why they just let them die.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other options. You just, find a cable channel or Netflix. Some Hulu is picking them up as well. So Mark Cuban was on The View the other day, and, of course, nobody really watches that show, but so you get sound bites out of it. And so the big sound bite lately from Mark Cuban, who, he runs his mouth, nonstop, he flat out said, quote unquote, Trump is an idiot. And of course, a lot of people, a lot of people think that. And, but he flat out came out and just said it. So I like Cuban in the fact that he says what's on his mind. At the same time, I find him an idiot myself because, for an owner to sit on the sidelines and constantly rant against the referees, of the NBA, and he's done a good job with the Mavericks. But if you can't do well with a top 5 market NBA team, you shouldn't be an owner anyway. So that's that. What's going on with AT&T? The CEO is often outspoken. And this is the guy who said, you have to retool yourself every 2 years because your skills are outdated within 2 years. He was at a Federation conference the other day, and he was talking about tolerance and talking about what they're doing at AT&T to try to bring people together and be cohesive, have a cohesive environment. And he said a couple things, and I'm going to kind of go into it. He said, tolerance is for cowards. Being tolerant requires nothing from you but to be quiet and to not make waves. Holding tight to your views and judgments without being challenged. Do not tolerate each other, he said. He said, work hard and move into uncomfortable territory, and then you can understand each other. So basically he's saying, look, let's quit just labeling everybody a racist. Let's get beyond this. Everybody's just a racist, and let's talk about real issues. Let's just have a discussion about it. Let's get into uncomfortable territories and talk about things as adults, and just instead of just shutting down and saying, "Oh, you're a racist."
Yeah, it's just everybody wants to feel like they're right.
Yeah, I mean, then it's a discussion ender, right? Yeah, you're racist. Oh, okay. Well, next topic.
Yep.
Well, it comes back to the same thing that you were talking about with Mark Cuban. It's no matter what you say, half the people are going to agree with you, half of the people are going to disagree with you.
Right.
And there's not a lot of room where it's open for discussion. It's
Sure.
I hate your view, or you're right on, I'm going to listen to you.
Exactly.
I think social media, it becomes an echo chamber too, and people just unfollow or unfriend people that disagree with them and just keep getting reinforcing views that mirror their own.
Yeah, and they just don't delve deep into the topics enough to even understand them, which is frustrating as well, because if you can't talk about it and you don't know, you don't understand, I'm telling you. He also went back and said, hey, one of these things that we're trying to do is, a strong middle class, starts with a good, civil, peaceful environment and the rule of law. And then he's talking about racial tension as it relates to that. And so I thought these were some great statements by him saying, let's just get past all this. Everybody's just a racist. Let's have real discussions. So I liked what he was saying at that conference the other day. That was the AT&T CEO. At the same time, AT&T workers are going on strike, 37,000 of them. However, that's not affecting Texas, the Southwest or the Southeast. It's representing 36 states and D.C. They're offering 115, it's like an average range of 115 to 148 in compensations, but they're still striking. I mean, that's a pretty solid wage.
So is this how they're retooling themselves?
I'm guessing so. Southwest Airlines CEO Gary Kelly said, hey, he's worried that the broader society is becoming less civilized, and he wants to work on that. And he says, what we're experiencing out there is, customers and the airlines and the workers, we're becoming more coarse as a society. He's like, let's become more civil again.
I can agree with that.
I'll go with that. What else is going on? We've got some commercial real estate topics. Maybe we'll get to those in a little bit. Big deal here. U.S. and Saudi Arabia sealing a big deal. $350 billion over 10 years. This is a military-industrial deal. Lockheed's going to benefit greatly out of this. About $350 billion, 10 years. $110 billion is going to take effect immediately. Similar deal, $40 billion investment with Blackstone and Saudi Arabia as well. Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund is going to be working with Blackstone and other investors to put $40 into U.S. infrastructure. So we're maybe going to get a little bit out of that as well, maybe get some things done here at home, which would be nice instead of just spending all of our money everywhere else.
That'd be a nice change.
For sure.
Wouldn't it? SecDef Mattis is excited about Trump's new orders, saying now that he feels like they can annihilate the Islamic State. New Trump orders have allowed SecDef Mattis to relegate control down to the commanders on the ground. And he says, look, no longer will we have slow decision cycles, if I can talk, because Washington, D.C. has to authorize tactical movements on the ground. He said we can now encircle Islamic State in the various areas that they're in, working more so with local partners and allowing the local partners to also have a little more autonomy to operate, and he's referring to it as the Annihilation Campaign. He's very concerned about the fact that they'll start these operations and then just leave a sort of wide open doors for them to escape. And he's like, we're fighting these same guys city after city after city because we have to literally go to Washington, D.C., ask for permission to move our troops over here, we can't cover the flanks. We can't encircle them, and we're allowing escape routes. He's like, what are we even doing this for? You know what I mean? Like, we'll just come in from this west, and you've got the east and the north and the south, and you guys just go wherever you want. Just fight us on this west side. Now, he said, we can actually, basically execute war appropriately, go in, attack, destroy, annihilate, and do what you're supposed to do versus just letting all these guys run wild and just you end up fighting them in the next conflict, the next little city, the next little village. So SecDef Mattis happy, and when he's happy, I'm happy.
I was going to say that's the most idiotic way of doing things.
Yeah, seems like common sense.
Right, isn't it just common sense? I mean, can we just go in and execute war the way we're supposed to do it? I mean, we're actually really good at it if we're allowed to.
Hey guys, we're just gonna line up. You stay right there. We're gonna wait a minute. We'll be right back. We gotta go check with mom and dad.
Yeah, exactly. Real quickly on sports. Stupid article about, why shouldn't Kaepernick come to the Cowboys? I saw this and I was like, oh my God.
Is this the one about him playing strong safety?
No, not that one. This was bringing him in as a backup quarterback. And I said, please no. I think that might be the nail in the coffin of many Cowboys fans who have just been down and out for so many years.
God, what a career trajectory for that guy.
More than likely, I think
we don't have football right now. You got to have something to fill the void.
Right. He's probably going to go to Seattle, is my guess. I think he would go to Seattle as a backup.
I'm sure he can get hired as a backup somewhere.
Yeah, I would think so. He'd be okay as a backup. Staying on quarterbacks, Ryan Fitzpatrick is now the backup to the Bucs' Jameis Winston. He signed a $3 million deal 1 year, maybe up to $5 million with incentives. So Fitzpatrick going over to Tampa Bay.
To borrow some ticket lingo, that guy is a spare.
There you go. Conference finals. NHL tied 2-2. Ottawa and the Penguins over in the West. Nashville leads 3-2, looking solid there. That's your NHL. NBA, you got the Cavs up 2-0. And you got the Warriors killing the Spurs right now, 3-0. So that's what's going on that side of sports. By the way, hey, next week, tune in with us. I know it's going to be a Memorial Day weekend, but I want you to tune in because we've got a special guest, author of Muslim Mafia, Chris Gabbets, is going to be on the show. And so we're going to talk about his book, Muslim mafia, and we're also going to talk about those no-go zones over in Europe. Sweden's now got like something like 65 no-go zones with these Muslim ghettos, the Muslim rape ghettos all over Europe. And so we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the Muslim Brotherhood and their goals to take over the world next week. So catch that episode with us. We're going to be with him live on the air. So, hey, folks, we're going to take a short break. Come on back. See you in a few.
Glad back.
Now there's a narrative going on, another one about Flynn. I'm not a fan of Flynn. I think he was a bad guy, but he's right on this particular case. And what the press is saying about him and Donald Trump is absolutely wrong.
Glenn Beck, 8 till 11 on News and Information, 570 AM, KLIF.
Hey sales executives, how is your current position treating you and those important to you? Have you hit a ceiling? Are you still having fun while being successful? Have your days become routine? Now, think about the prospect of selling for 3 of the strongest media brands in DFW. This is local sales manager Steve Holm, and we're looking for a competitive seller to join our successful team. Interested? Email me your resume at steve.holm@cumulus.com. That's steve.holm@cumulus.com. Cumulus is an equal opportunity employer.
Living in the DFW area, expansive clay soil and extreme weather conditions play havoc on homes' foundation. But thankfully, you can turn to Permapeer Foundation Repair of Texas, who has successfully repaired over 20,000 properties and counting in the DFW area. With the most trusted, tried and true foundation repair methods, trust the professional staff of Permapeer Foundation Repair to take care of your property, and most repairs are backed by a lifetime transferable warranty. Mention Inside Real Estate Radio when calling Permapeer at 214-637-1444 or when booking online at permapeer.com for your Inside Real Estate Radio discount.
Folks, it's Mike Kruizinga here with Inside Real Estate Sports Entertainment on 570 AM KLIF. Did you know that virtually all of us will experience a fall in the bathtub at some point in our life? Well, statistically, it's true, and as we get older, a fall in the bathtub can spell disaster, as we just can't recover the same as we did in our younger years. Don't let something as silly and preventable as a bathtub fall put an end to all your special plans you have lined up for your golden years. Invest in a Hydrojet walk-in bathtub. Made in the USA and with the lowest step in the industry, Hydrojet walk-in tubs has your best interest at heart. With no commissioned sales staff or huge warehouse overhead, they build and sell direct to you, saving you thousands of dollars over their competitors. Call Randy, my friend, and owner of Hydrojet Walk-In Tubs at 855-980-8827 or go to hydrojetwalkintubs.com. You'll be able to speak with Randy directly, and make sure to mention you heard about it on the radio. And for you veterans out there, there's a grant available for you to cover the majority of the cost of a walk-in tub, making it darn near free. Call Randy at 855-980-8827 or go to hydrojetwalkintubs.com today.
570 AM, 96.3 HD2. That's where you'll find us. News and Information, KLIF.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Howdy-ho, folks. We are back. Mike Kruizinga here, your host. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. You want to talk to us, 888-787-KLIF. We're going to do a little bit of insurance talk with our good friend over at Goosehead Insurance, Richard Tonihka. And, of course, his website, richardtagency.com, richardtagency.com. Hello, Richard.
I don't know about friends. Very good acquaintances, maybe. A little line from the Lorax, because that's all I watch are kids' movies. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you about some myths today concerning your home and your auto insurance. First thing is that you have to have the same carrier to get an auto and home bundle. That's not true. The way we do things, we're going to shop you with over 25 different carriers for your home insurance. And then if for some reason that the home insurance is giving you a great rate, but their auto insurance isn't going to give you a great rate, then we look at the other carriers that we have for your auto insurance. And that's how we bundle you together. You do not have to have the same carrier for your auto and your home. That's not true with Farmers, Allstate, all the big box guys, that it's one policy and it's their home and their auto. If you don't bundle it, you don't get the auto home. But with me, you're able to do that even though they're not the same carriers. Because I do have some home carriers that don't even offer auto insurance. All they do is specialize in home insurance. And that's how they're able to offer you better rates, because they narrowed their focus down into, we want this kind of customer, we want this kind of house, and this is all we're offering it for. And they give great rates for their target customers. Otherwise, it's really apparent early on which carriers are going to be the best options for each individual. Yeah, but we still shop everybody for everybody.
And the truth is that, you know, you may be better off with one company with auto and another company with home. You see it quite a bit.
Absolutely. And most, well, I'd say about half of my customers have different auto carriers than home carriers. It's just something that happens, and that's fine. It's whatever's the best option for you is what I'm going to do, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to make sure that you have the best policy at the best price. And it doesn't matter what carrier. If it's carrier A, B, or C this year, fantastic. If it's company D, E, and F next year, fantastic. We move you to one of those. So you can get that auto home discount without having the same carrier. Second thing is, if you're paying more, you're getting better coverage. There is nothing further from the truth. Especially on your home policy, you're looking at a myriad of different things, but there are certain carriers out there. I'm not going to name any names, but they're usually about 50 to 60% higher than everyone else, just on name recognition. And people pay it every day. And to me, it just baffles my mind. But just because you're paying more doesn't mean you're getting more.
Right. And there's a lot of companies out there that are membership based, and they do happen to be a lot of the higher charging companies as well.
Yeah, not even that. On top of that, they also give you a higher deductible. So with all the carriers, I look at two things really when I'm looking at a house. I'm trying to make sure that your deductible is 1% for your wind and hail. And then I'm also looking at your water coverage. And which brings me to my next myth. All water coverage is the same. That is not even close. There are 4 different types of water coverage. There's sudden and accidental, which everybody knows is pipe burst, your dishwasher, the hose explodes and you've got water all over the place. Something like that. That's sudden and accidental. You've got water backup, which is from the sewer, so sewage is coming back into your house. That is only offered as an endorsement. It isn't automatically put on the policy for most policies. So it's going to be a bad day to begin with.
Yeah.
It's going to be even worse when you find out that you're not covered.
And people think that it is just part of it.
Yes,
you know?
And it isn't.
Yeah.
Then you've got water foundation. So your foundation is constantly moving in this area. And if one of the pipes bursts and it's caused by that wouldn't be covered under sudden and accidental. You're going to have water foundation coverage. And so there's going to be a big expense for that. And then the last one is slow leak and leakage. That is when you've got like a hairpin in your pipe and there's just damage upon damage being gone or being done to your house because you have no idea. And it's gently just deteriorating the whole wall. And then you don't find out until the whole thing's gone. But a lot of carriers are going to say, no, that's not covered because it was slow leak, and they can tell how long that leak has been in the wall and just deny that claim because of those things. And so making sure that you know what the limitations are, or if you don't want the limitations, because I'd say 80% of carriers out there do not offer the slow leak. Or if they do offer it, you have to have it at the very beginning when you first sign the policy, or else you can't add it afterwards. Because once you find something like that, it is going to be a big ticket claim. And
yeah, because it's going to be hidden and you have no idea how long until it finally rears its head.
Yes. And so you're looking at not only doing the plumbing, but replacing rooms or whole sections of a house. Right. And so those are things that some of the myths. One is that your auto insurance only covers you if you're in an accident and it's not your fault, or if it is your fault, because there are all the different coverages, whether the other person has insurance or not. Make sure that you have uninsured motorists on your auto insurance, because if somebody hits you and they don't have insurance, which, let's face it, not everyone out there is driving around with auto insurance. Mm-hmm. But if they hit you and they don't have insurance and all you have is your liability and then comprehensive and collision, it matters where something is paid out of, because if it's paid out of comprehensive or collision, that comes back as your fault, especially collision. whether they had insurance or not, but in order to get your car fixed, you're going to have to go through your insurance. If you only have collision, that shows up as your fault. So uninsured motorists, it matters where things are paid out of as to how they see it on the Clue report. And the Clue report shows that you've had this many claims. This is the determination or what it was paid out of, and what it was paid out kind of determines how long it stays on your record. Something that's comprehensive only stays, or accidents and comprehensive claims stay on your record for 3 years. Absolutely not true. Every carrier is a little bit different, but normally, whether it's an at-fault accident or a not-at-fault accident, is going to stay on your record for 5 years. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's there for 5 years. Something, if a tree falls on your car or you have hail damage or something like that, that's usually 3 years. But it's going to vary from carrier to carrier. And then red cars are more expensive to insure. And we've all heard that. I grew up hearing that, and I was just like, no, it's not true. It's the person that wants the shiny red car usually has more tickets. Is the car's more expensive? Yes,
got the big engine.
Sports cars are usually a little bit more expensive, depending on the driver. It's really your driving history and the
red cars.
It's just the fact that the cops love seeing red cars, and you're probably going to have more tickets because of that.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's just easy to see.
Yeah, because I can't tell you any customer's color of their car unless they bring it into to my office. Other than that, I never see the color or anything else. Your auto insurance is going to pay for stuff that are stolen out of your car. That's not true. That comes back to your renter's or your homeowner's insurance. And so you're looking at your deductible. So before you put in a claim, let's say you've got an iPad that's on your back seat, which please hide your stuff when you're going in somewhere, but that's a whole different story. So somebody breaks into your car, steals an iPad out of the back of your car. It's not worth putting in a claim. I know it would make me mad, but any kind of lost personal items comes off of your renter's insurance and or your homeowner's insurance. So you're looking at that deductible. Usually on your renter's insurance, you're looking at $500. So my rule of thumb is always it's got to be double my deductible before I put in a claim, because if it's not, it's really not worth it to me, because my rates are going to go up. And then when you're also looking at a theft claim, you're also looking at no one is going to touch your policy for about 2 or 3 years. So a theft claim better be worth it to you. Because
you're going to be stuck with that provider for a while.
Yes, because once it happens, it's more than likely going to happen again. But anything that is stolen or lost out of your car is from your homeowner's insurance. And your homeowner's insurance takes 10%. So if you have your personal property or with your homeowners is at $100,000, or let's say your homeowners or your renter's insurance has personal property at $100,000. No matter where you are, 10% of that is personal property wherever you go. So if you go on a trip, you've got $10,000 worth of coverage for your personal belongings that you're taking on your trip. So let's say you've got all this video equipment or whatever electronics with you on one of your trips, and somebody steals your whole luggage and there's $10,000. Yes, put that claim in. It's worth it. That's what I would do.
Yeah, absolutely. But if it's too close, don't do it. Your rates are going to go up. You're going to be stuck. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And folks, trust me, Richard's got so many options for you with all the different carriers that he works with. I want you to go to his website, give him a call, and just take a look over all of your policies. He takes care of toys, life, home, auto, everything. RichardTAgency.com is his website. RichardTAgency.com is his website. Good stuff again, as always, Richard. Thank you so much. Hey, folks, we're going to take a short break. We'll see you on the other side.
The news never stops, and neither do we.
Well, I respect the move, but the entire thing has been a witch hunt, and there is no collusion between certainly myself and my campaign, but I can always speak for myself and the Russians. Zero. I think it divides the country. I think we have a very divided country because of that and many other things.
Non-stop coverage here. News and information, 570 AM, KLIF.
Far from the shores of home, two African-American U.S. Army privates fight for their lives on the battlefronts of World War II. The first Black War correspondents fight to cover the perspective of the black soldier. The novel A Private War, it weaves all this and more into an epic World War II era story of friendship, conflict, religion, and redemption. Get a copy of Private War, a novel by Perry Cockerell today, now available on Amazon.com. And tune in regularly to Inside Real Estate Sundays 8 to 9 a.m. to hear Perry Cockerell, attorney at law, as he provides expert analysis of the latest and greatest in legal news.
You're unique, so why's your mattress one size fits all? It's Joe Pags here talking about Helix Sleep. Helix builds custom mattresses shipped right to your door for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to helixsleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and they'll build you a mattress made just for you. I went and did it, went to the website, got our Helix mattress, and my wife and I both love it. Shipping is free. You're going to have 100 nights to try it out. Go to helixsleep.com/talkradio. Get $50 towards your new mattress. helixsleep.com/talkradio.
If you have a timeshare, this time of year you're probably thinking about those maintenance fees coming due. Hi, I'm Karen Holloway, owner of Lone Star Transfer, located right here in the DFW area. Before you pay your maintenance fees, call us for a free consultation, 972-722-3166. We'll get you out of your timeshare and put a stop to those maintenance fees, guaranteed. 972-722-3166 or LoneStarTransfer.com.
KLIF News and Information, 570 AM, 96.3 HD2.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
How we doing, folks? We are back. Inside Real Estate Radio. Mike Kruizinga here. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. And time to get into a little bit of Permapier Foundation repair talk. We've got our good friend Phillip Sears here live in studio. How we doing, Phillip?
I'm great, Mike. How are you?
I'm good. What are we going to talk about today? There's so much to talk about when it comes to foundation repair because there's so many things that are going on out there. People get so scared about it, but we're going to give them, the real 411 on it.
Well, since I've been dealing with it a lot lately, I thought we'd talk a little bit about the builder's structural warranties.
Okay.
So just to give you guys a little bit of context, this is a warranty that's issued by usually third-party companies on behalf of home builders. And basically it's intended to insure against foundation issues during the first 10 to 12 years of your home. But the reality is that these warranty companies, they stay in business by denying claims. So they're a little bit, it's more difficult to deal with them than most people think when they initially get into it.
Right.
And I was talking to you a little bit before the show, spoke to a realtor who does business with us, and she's got a home that she purchased 3 years old and still under the builder's warranty, but she's seeing some vertical cracks showing up in her brick wall. And she showed me pictures, and it looked pretty bad, but it's not foundation related. It's just an error in the builder's construction. So they just didn't install expansion joints where they should have. And if you don't know what an expansion joint is, basically if you're looking at a house, most often you see these on a long brick wall.
Right.
The expansion joint is basically they'll lay the brick, cut a vertical line, crack in the wall up and down all the way through, and then they use a filler in between. And the purpose of that is to allow the wall to flex and move because the soils in North Texas are always shifting.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, it's natural for, us to have movement with our homes, and it's why, we were built out, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, most of DFW was. And those homes mostly did not have expansion joints. It wasn't a common practice during that time. And so that's why we see so much foundation repair, because we see those brick cracks with those. And it's just over time, the settling gets so extreme. A lot of water management issues that we don't deal with. But the newer construction, it's been more common practice to have that expansion joint. And for this home only being 3 years old and it not having them is a little bit odd. So
I think it goes straight back to the builders.
Yeah.
And I mean, Mike, you know this. Just think about the state of the market right now.
Yeah.
It's low inventory, and there's more people looking for homes than there are homes that are built.
Yeah.
So there's every incentive in the world for builders to just build as much as they can, as fast as they can. And, as a result, sometimes there's errors in construction that shouldn't happen, but they do. And people get hung out to dry. The homeowners do.
Yeah, and something for people to think about as well is, they're starting to look at, existing subdivisions where there are holes already, where there's some lots still available. They're going in and buying those lots, or subdivisions where there's some older homes and they're knocking those down and putting in a new home. You got to watch out who's building those homes, because something like this could happen where, look, it's a common practice to have that expansion joint on those brick walls now, and to prevent some of this, and then for a house just being built not have it, that's something you want to watch out with. And that's why, and this is just another plug for realtors, is a lot of people don't use a realtor for their new build, and they don't understand that they can use a realtor.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, they should use a realtor.
Absolutely.
You don't have any cost to you as a buyer to use a realtor to help you facilitate the process with a builder. Some builders, may say that, you don't need one, but it's because they're going to try to keep those dollars
and
in.
And the builders write those contracts
in-house
themselves.
Exactly. So, but it's nice to have that realtor help, look over
an advocate
the builder's
for your
shoulder.
home buyer.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Sure. Now, just to go along with that, I mean, we talked about the shifting soils of North Texas.
Yeah.
The metaphor that I like to use is it's kind of like building your house on top of a sponge. So weather's wet, the soil's going to absorb that moisture and expand. When it dries out in the summertime, it loses that moisture and it contracts, and that's really the reason we have so many foundation issues. It's moisture.
Right.
It's either a lack of moisture or too much moisture, and the way the soil responds to it. So it's unfortunate that people buying homes that are 3 years, 5 years old, and they're having foundation issues. But these warranties that builders issue, I mean, there are definite upsides to it. Basically, potentially, you could get your entire home fixed, the foundation fixed, and pay nothing out of pocket. Right. I mean, you're kicked out of your house for 3 weeks, and it's very invasive to do that. But at the end of the day, it'll stay fixed, because the way these warranty companies pay out their claims, they don't want to have to go in and fix it twice.
Right.
So what they'll do is pay for a foundation repair company to do a full underpin, and that basically just means a full repair of the house, where we go in and put in piers all around the perimeter of the house, and then we'll do breakouts or tunnel underneath the home, and then do interior piers as well, which is why I say it's very invasive, especially if you have to, get a jackhammer inside the house, bust open the slab, and put a pier underneath.
Yeah, gonna make a mess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You probably don't want to be around while that's happening.
Yeah.
Be a little traumatic.
My home.
Especially if you got those nice hardwood floors and they're getting ripped up.
Right.
Yeah, people don't tend to like that very much.
Yeah, just see that jackhammer in your house, debris flying.
A little bit scary.
A little bit.
Yeah. Those tunnels, too, that can be scary, too. I don't know if I see a lot of foundation repair job sites. I'm sure most people don't.
Right.
But they'll get in there. These guys, our crew guys, they'll get in underneath the house with just a shovel and dig out these tunnels by hand. And that's basically the alternative to getting that jackhammer inside your house and doing a breakout.
Yeah.
So when you're doing a breakout, how do you replace the wood, or do you just go to the manufacturer how do you do that?
So the flooring is going to be replaced under that warranty as well. So basically, if a claim is paid out, they're going to try and get it as close to the original condition when the homeowner purchased the house.
Right.
So they'll go ahead and replace the flooring and basically anything else that gets damaged. It's just that the by far the most expensive part of that claim that they're paying out is going to be the foundation repair itself.
Right, that repair.
Yeah.
So the big thing is, if you can get the warranty company to pay for the repair, and if you can get it, then it'll get done and should get done right, and then they've got to put everything back to normal.
Now, it's a big if.
Yeah.
Because another thing about those warranty companies, the criteria that they use to judge a foundation and the state of that foundation is not what a structural engineer would use. It's actually far and away they're looking for a much more severe problem than an engineer would basically be looking for. So an engineer might recommend an engineer might recommend doing a repair on a home that a warranty company would not. Most often I hear this all the time. You'll get a homeowner, file a claim with the warranty company. They'll come out and do an inspection, and then the warranty company will say, it's moving around, but let's keep an eye on it. We'll come back out in 6 months or a year and see where it is. And to be honest, I think it's kind of a stalling tactic, just to kind of wear down people and trying to get them to maybe not pursue it as vigorously as they otherwise would.
Yeah, just push it down the line.
For sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. That, the warranty companies, obviously they're in business to make money, and they do. There's some good ones out there, and they take care of business. They take care of their clients. But at the same time, but you're right. You get an engineer out there, and the engineer may say it's failing. But the warranty company almost wants beyond a complete and utter failure. Where the house is literally heaving out.
Oh yeah,
up outside of the ground.
And there's definite hot spots as well. So just to give you a few examples, Carrollton, Louisville, Las Colinas is really bad. West Frisco, actually, like west of the tollway. We've done a lot of work out there. So I mean, a lot of it depends on your zip code, the soil type that you have, and to be honest, price point. So larger homes, more expensive homes tend to be better engineered. So we don't see as many issues, but you get your 3-2 ranch style, 1,800 square foot house, or maybe a little bit less than that. And we do a lot of work on houses like that of that size.
Right. Yeah, because your quality level. Absolutely. Well, folks, I mean, we are starting to see building go up, throughout the Metroplex. It's far more in the commercial, and the luxury range, but as they're starting to build more middle-class homes, middle to upper-class homes, the ones that are building out and they've been around a while, I mean, they've got a standard, those are usually fine in most cases, but a lot of the ones that are being built that are kind of independent, one-offs here, one-offs there, smaller builders, there's a lot of great builders out there, but you got to really watch it. It's just a great point to make sure you use your realtor for a new build, because they're going to help you if they're worth their salt. They're going to help you go through some of this stuff during the building process and give you questions, and help you and ask questions of the builder. For sure. For all of your foundation repair, folks, if you've got visible cracks in the brick outside, even if you've got visible cracks in your sheetrock and you have questions about that, just questions about it. You guys go out to free consult. You guys come
Absolutely.
out. If you got those wedge cracks, in the foundation, or you're seeing obvious, shifts where you've got some humps or valleys, anything like that. Perma-Pier Foundation Repair. They are the go-to company in all of the state of Texas. Perma-Pier Foundation Repair, permapier.com is their website. Good stuff, Phillip. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, folks, we're going to take a short break. We'll see you on the other side.
President Trump is on a 9-day, 5-city foreign trip that includes a visit to the NATO and G7 summits. We'll follow his journey Monday morning, plus traffic and the latest weather forecast 5 to 8 a.m. on News and Information in the Morning on 570 KLIF.
Living in the DFW area, expansive clay soil and extreme weather conditions play havoc on homes' foundation. But thankfully, you can turn to Perma-Pier Foundation Repair of Texas, who has successfully repaired over 20,000 properties and counting in the DFW area. With the most trusted, tried and true foundation repair methods, trust the professional staff of Perma-Pier Foundation Repair to take care of your property, and most repairs are backed by a lifetime transferable warranty. Mention Inside Real Estate Radio when calling Perma-Pier at 214-637-1444 or when booking online at permapier.com for your Inside Real Estate Radio discount.
Folks, it's Mike the Realtor here from Inside Real Estate, and if you're not listing your property with me, bottom line is you're leaving money on the table. There are over 15,000 agents here in the DFW area, most of whom are part-time and do a few deals a year. Do you want to trust them to sell your home? I think not. Call Mike the Realtor, the radio realty expert from Inside Real Estate on 570 AM KLIF. Promise you will get to me direct. Go to InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Don't sell your home with just anyone. Go to InsideRealEstateRadio.com and connect with Mike the Realtor. The Richard Tonihka Insurance Agency in Arlington has nearly unlimited resources when it comes to getting you the best insurance rates and policies for home, auto, and more. As part of the Goosehead Insurance brand, you, the consumer, have the power of choice through the Richard Tonihka Insurance Agency Network. Richard can quote over 20 A-rated companies to find the best fit for you, the best policy at the best price. Call Richard today at 817-286-2002. It's the Richard Tonihka Goosehead Insurance Agency, 817-286-2002. far from the shores of home, two African-American U.S. Army privates fight for their lives on the battlefronts of World War II. The first Black war correspondents fight to cover the perspective of the black soldier. The novel A Private War weaves all this and more into an epic World War II era story of friendship, conflict, religion, and redemption. Get a copy of Private War, a novel by Perry Cockerell today, now available on Amazon.com. And tune in regularly to Inside Real Estate Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m. to hear Perry Cockerell, attorney at law, as he provides expert analysis of the latest and greatest in legal news.
KLIF News and Information. Still at 570 AM. And also at 96.3 HD2.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey, folks, we are back. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. Time to get into our legal analysis segment with our good friend Perry Cockerell, who is author extraordinaire as well. How we doing, Perry?
Doing fine. Thanks, Mike. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you again. Let's make sure we got your mic hot. We have his mic hot?
You hear me?
There we go. That's
again.
better.
I'm glad to be back.
Good to see you again. And so I know we've been kind of following these couple bills that have, been in the legislature. And so let's kind of get the latest and greatest on those. We've been talking about, boundaries with our neighbors and property owners. And so let's talk about that a little bit.
I do want to give an update. I'm a little disappointed that these bills I'm not certain whether they're going to come out of the legislature, but they do address a real serious problem. I'm sure will be addressed in the next legislative session, and it's just a matter of getting some political muscle behind it and it's kind of a low radar issue that's been brewing for years, and that is where you have to be very careful to make sure your boundary line and your fence line is on your boundary line, because if somebody moves that fence line over just a little bit, 6 inches or whatever, can be more than that, and leaves it there for more than 2 years, it might be very difficult for you to have that adjusted, sent back to the right location. In other words, that person can basically take that property from you by claiming that their actions are permanent.
Right.
And that's true even if it's a lease agreement with the landlord and the tenant, like in this one particular case where the landowner just happened to also own the other land, and they leased it out to somebody else and made a lot of money off of the little strip that they took. The landlord was not able to put the tenant back in the right location because the court held that the suit was barred by the 2-year statute of limitation. That's not the case in another suit or another case in Corpus Christi where the court held, no, that kind of action is under the 10-year adverse possession statute. The other suit was an adverse possession case also, and they held that it was barred by the 2-year statute of limitations. But adverse possession is a 10-year statute of limitations, so there's some confusion over when you can apply this 2-year statute of limitations. So two legislatures filed a bill that would have essentially overruled that case from the Fort Worth Court of Appeals. Mm-hmm. The intention was not really to overrule the case, but to clarify the law,
which is needed.
Which is the Corpus Christi case, I believe, called it correctly. That, you cannot take somebody's land after 2 years. There's a 3, 5, 10-year, 25-year statute of adverse possession.
Right.
But you can't indirectly do that through the use of another statute. That's not the intention of that statute. This particular statute they're using was when you go in and you permanently damage someone's property, such as you tear down trees. Now, that's a permanent damage. But when you're using somebody's land, you can't take that statute and say, I get the land because I permanently damaged you, even though I'm leasing it from you under the lease, and I can't make you comply with the lease. And that does not make sense. And this analysis is just not getting it's just not getting addressed, and I'm not even certain it's quite understood. That one case from the Second Court of Appeals was taken all the way to the United States Supreme Court, but they would not hear it. They denied the petition for certiorari on that one. The Texas Supreme Court would not hear it. These two bills, it was Senate Bill 1894 and then House Bill 4153, that would have just clarified the law that statute does not apply in this particular type of situation. But right now it's just an ambiguous conflict in the law, and we hope to get it corrected in the next legislative session. So.
Yeah, what we need on this is to get maybe some of the larger landowners, maybe in the state of Texas, and bring that to their attention, and since they have some lobby power, and maybe come at it from that state. But, homeowners and investors who own properties out there, you need to be aware. You need to be aware, especially of what your renters are doing. If you're renting properties, especially that have maybe it's a small property, but it's on a significant piece of land, and you're not paying attention to what's going on that land, this type of thing can happen. 2 years is a very short time, very short term.
That's why I now have all clients when they buy property to buy the survey exception.
Yes, absolutely.
Coverage now. I always do that under all circumstances. It's just too dangerous out there.
I agree.
For that. There will be some. I'm a part of the member of the Texas Land Title Association, so they've looked at this bill and they've examined it, and they are working on another bill that they put a lot of time and effort to get that bill through, and so there wasn't enough time to get this one, but it will be looked at next time. It will be examined a lot more, I think, over the next 2 years and what it needed. And the bills that were filed needed a little bit of correction in them, and it's difficult after a bill's filed to get it corrected. You can correct it at a hearing at the committee level, but these never got a vote so far in the committee level, and they're going to have to be amended a little bit anyway. So I don't see anything happening with these.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think there's some education process, I think, with them understanding, the implications of what's going on with this. But, of course, bathroom bills are so much more important than
real estate bills.
Right. But let's get into let's talk about the new book. And I'd like to start with, by the way, folks, A Private War, the first novel, is out in a multi-part series. You can buy it in its entirety, or you can buy it in the series, and it's on Amazon. But we now have A Private War Part 2, which is out, which is the sequel. And so I'd like to start briefly with, the synopsis of the first book, and then let's move into the second one.
That's good. I do need to bring you up to date. As you know, about a year ago on this show, I talked about the first book, and was asked today by Richard, how did you come up with writing that? Well, I Googled my name, and my name came under afro.com, and I wanted to know why my name was there, and it was because it was a private Perry Cockerell who served in World War II in France, and he was interviewed by a black journalist, the first black journalist to cover World War II. So from there, I created a story. And I followed the journalist's life covering World War II, and then I created fictional characters of two African Americans from Alabama that went and fought in the war, and he eventually meets them and covers them. One of them's family tragically injured or died in a house fire, which was uncertain who caused that, one or the other. And then during the war, one of them accidentally shoots the other, and the other dies. The JAG investigation is taken on that, and the JAG officer believes that the soldier wasn't an accident, so they prosecute him and he gets convicted. And then I don't want to tell you what happens on that.
Right.
The rest of the book.
The
second book. Now this journalist comes and takes this soldier, and he comes back to Birmingham, and he goes to work for the newspaper. So it has all the same characters, and they cover the year 1948, which is the Truman Dewey election. So
Okay.
I had to research what happened in 1948. Now, in the first book, I did not discuss racism, although that was an issue during the war. But the second book, I get into racism, and this soldier is basically suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome and believes he was prosecuted because of his race. And so he investigates racism. And in 1948, racism was a serious problem.
Right.
The Ku Klux Klan had 2 times interfered with Negro Girl Scouts integrating with whites in just a camp setting.
Mm-hmm.
And it was terrible things like that. I was shocked when I read the newspapers. And so I fictionalized versions of that. So the press is taking on the Klan to bring them down. The FBI is trying to bring down the Klan in this book. And the characters are just intermingled in this story, and they're covering the Dewey election at the same time. And this soldier is dealing with his, what you would see after a war.
Right.
And typically what he thinks about, he dreams about, is in the book. For example, he thought about President Andrew Johnson. That's not a president you write books about much
right,
in
exactly.
a novel, but, everybody knows the Lincoln stories. So I had to investigate Andrew Johnson, reading a couple of books. And so I have this young reporter who wants to learn how to interview, and he dreams that he interviews Andrew Johnson in his office. Now, Andrew Johnson was a racist president. And so he wants to explore what makes this person like this.
Like that, yeah.
And so now this book is satirical, and it's a comedy at parts. So remember when Obama was interviewed by the reporter and he asked him, what were you surprised about? What were you troubled about? What were you enchanted about? And what were you humbled? So I take that, and he's interviewing Andrew Johnson now in his dreams, and he's in the Oval Office interviewing this very racist president, and he asked him, what were you surprised about? What were you enchanted about? What were you humbled about? Anyway, there's some comedy in the book. It's involves a play at the church where they put on, and they want to get the young soldier out of the doldrums. So his wife put him in a play, but the play is a real book written by Napoleon Bonaparte, and they put music to it. So they put this musical play on at their church, and it's designed to bring him out of what he's going through. But
with the PTSD, yeah.
Right. But the lines in the play mimic what he's going through. Like he has this anger towards this prosecutor for prosecuting for a crime that he didn't commit at all. And so he's dealing with trying to forgive. Then it has the sisters. Remember the Catholic Church rescued this soldier in the first book. So they have renovated a home, and they're putting on this camp for the Girl Scout, the Negro Girl Scouts. And so it comes to a final climatic conclusion involving the Klan and efforts to deal with racism and his anger towards his prosecution. And it has a fiery climax in the book, which I don't want to reveal. But
yeah, absolutely. Well, folks, I would highly recommend, look, if you haven't read A Private War Part 1, go out, grab that one. You can grab it in its full entirety or grab it in the series, which are, the bite-sized versions, and you can get those and read those along the way and then move on to A Private War Part 2. This is a World War II era story and covers a very unique topic, and just there was a lot of unique things going on between, the white soldiers and the black soldiers during that time. And then if you bring in the press into it as well, it's just a unique dynamic. And so this is a story you just don't see out there. And so it's so original and unique. So I highly recommend go out there, grab A Private War, and then move on to Part 2, which is now out. You can go to Amazon.com. And, of course, if you want to catch up with Perry, his website, perryjcockerell.com, perryjcockerell.com. And, folks, good stuff. Great show today. Hey, we are back next week live, 8 to 9 in the morning. Even though it's Memorial Weekend, we will be here live, and 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 we will be here live.